The nature of our life is we do not know what is going to happen in the next moment. Life is unpredictable. Life is mysterious, and that is what makes the life more and more interesting. No matter how good you are, no matter how talented you are, there are some times, and there will be some times, that things won't go in your way. Life will give you hard kicks. Life will give you tough lessons. I know in those times, we all feel like giving up. We all feel like quitting what we are doing. But you have to remember one thing. Everything that is in life is impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Not even your pains. Not even your problems, not even the troubles that you go through today. It is going to change one day. Keep that in your mind and believe in it. This is to everyone who is going through tough times in your life. Please, do not ever quit. Don't give up. Because the pain you go through today, the troubles you face today, the problems you face today is just a chapter in your life story. It's just a page in your life story. It's not your whole life story. Remember this. If you were to tell your life story in front of thousands and thousands of people after one day you become successful, if you were to tell a nice and a simple and a soft story, no one will be inspired with that story. The more you face troubles, the more you face problems in your life, the more tough your life becomes, your life story will be more interesting. And one day, your life story can be a survival guide for someone in out there. Remember this. So whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling like giving up, whenever you face problems, I need one thing for you to do. Go out and help someone. This is not something that you hear oftenly. Go out and help someone when they feel down. Okay? Give a helping hand to someone when they are feeling troubles and when they go through tough times in your life. Because you have to believe that what you give is what you get. Right? Even though you are going through tough times in your life, you must be willing to help others because that gives the happiness. Right? The more you face troubles, you can understand how others feels like it to go through tough times. Okay? So when you feel down, always try to help someone. I know how it feels like to constantly fail, and I know how it feels like to constantly fall and be unsuccessful because I have been through that situation. Okay? So help someone, help people. Right? And also do not ever give up. Sometimes you have to be patient because things get time to work out. Okay? Things take times to get better. Okay? Remember, great things take time to be successful. Okay? Do not believe in quick and instant results because we are so used to this instant world. Because in this instant world, we need everything instant. Okay, this world is built up to give you everything instantly. The outer sources, when you log on to social media, it comes instantly. You can take something instantly. You can know about something instantly. You can download something instantly. But in real life situations, things are not instant. It takes time. Successfulness takes time, right? Happiness, it takes time. Peacefulness takes time. Relationships to build up, it takes time. Nothing is instant in real life. You have to wait. You have to be patient. So in those times, we feel anxious and worried, right? We feel stressed. But remember, when you feel stressed, when you're tired, it is okay to rest. But it is not okay to quit. Because as long as we live, as long as we survive on this earth, as long as we have our lives, we can have a chance to be successful. We can be better at what we are doing. So this is to everyone who is going through tough times in your life. Believe that one day you're going to be happy. One day, you're going to be proud about yourself if you focus on yourself and if you work on yourself. So keep in your mind, no matter how tough the situation is, never ever give up. Keep moving forward. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Do you know how amazing your mind can serve for you if you know how to control and master your thoughts? And that is why they say that mind is the best servant if you know how to master your thoughts. Right? But if you let your mind to become your master, you will end up nothing but as a slave of it. So how can we control our mind? How can we deal with these negative thoughts? Now, so many people think that they can remove a negative thought and plant a positive thought inside it. But in reality, you will never be able to remove a thought from your mind by force. Right? Go ahead and do it. Right? You will never be able to do that. The more you try, the more you use the force to remove a thought or forget it, the more it will come back to you and haunt you. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a simple and a practical way to use the energy of that negative thought to drive it into a more positive state of our mind by simply asking these 5 questions from yourself. Right? These questions will help you to come into this present moment, and it will encourage you to cultivate more wholesome qualities and wholesome thoughts inside your mind. Okay? But before starting, I have to remember none of these practices and none of these things are easy. But with the time, if you keep on practicing it, right? If you stick into the process and if you keep on doing it, it will be very easy for you to do that. Okay? And once you become used to it, and once you get used to that, it is very easy to deal with negative thoughts in your mind, and it is very easy to control your mind. So let's dive in. The first question that you have to ask from yourself is, what are the thoughts that keep me away from peace? What are the thoughts that steal my peacefulness inside me? When you ask this question from yourself, you can go through the weaknesses of yourself. Right? Because the weaknesses are different from one person to another. For someone, the thought that steals their peacefulness is the anger. For another person, it is the jealousy. For another person, it is the procrastination or the laziness. Okay? So when you ask from yourself, what makes me disturbed? Okay? What steals my peacefulness? Then you will have a good understanding about what are the weaknesses inside you. Once you realize what are the weaknesses inside you, okay, what thought pattern steals your peacefulness, then it is very easy for you to deal with that negative state of your mind. Okay, so ask from yourself, what steals my peacefulness? And have a good understanding about it. The second question that you can ask from yourself is, what am I thinking right now? This is one of the best questions that you can ask from yourself to bring your mind to this current and present moment, okay? To have a good understanding about the current situation of your mind. Because most of the time, our mind lives in either it is in past or it is in the future. It is hardly our mind lives in this present moment. So once you ask this question, what am I thinking now? Ask this question as much as possible from yourself. What am I thinking now? What am I doing now? When you ask from yourself that, it comes, your awareness comes into this present moment. Okay? Because most of the time, our awareness travels from one arena to another. Maybe it is in the past, maybe it is in the future. It hardly comes to this present moment. Once you come into this present moment, it is very easy for you to solve the problem because you know what is going inside. Okay, when you ask from yourself that question, you can come up with so many answers. Okay, ask it from yourself and you will come up with these answers like, my mind is in anger now, right? I'm at stress now, I'm in a problem, I'm thinking about something, I'm worrying about something. Okay, once you identify that, right, once you catch your thought, it is very easy to deal with it. Now you came to this present moment and you identify the thought. Now you have to ask the third question. The third question is this thought pattern helpful for me? Right? When you ask this question from yourself, you dive into that problem and you started to think the downside of that negative state. For an example, if you're in anger, if you ask from yourself, is this anger really gonna help me? Is it going to help me? Then you will come up with the answer, no. It is not going to help me. It only hurts me and the other person, right? It will lead to many problems. When you ask that question from yourself, it gives you the chance to think about the disadvantages and the downside of your thought patterns. The more you realize the disadvantages of your thought patterns, it is very easy to stay out of it because you know that it is going to hurt. Because most of the time, we do things and we think without realizing and without thinking about the disadvantages of it. And that is why it is the best thing to ask from yourself that, is it really going to help me? Now you identified your state of your mind. Now you came to this present moment. Now you know that it is not going to help you. As the next question, now you can ask from yourself, what is the best thing to do instead of staying in this negative state? Right? For an example, if you're in anger, ask from yourself, what is the best thing to do instead of staying in anger? Now, what should I do now? Then you will come up with the answer that I should forgive people. I should let go of this anger. If I need to be at peace, right? If I need to find the peacefulness inside my mind, then I need to let go of this anger. Okay? I need to remove it. Now you come up with a solution. Now the best part is, the most amazing thing is, every one of us know what is good and bad. We know what to do and what not to do. Okay? Now for an example, let's say, now we know that too much sugar is bad for our health. But what we do, when we are going to make a teacup, we just pour some extra sugar into it. We put some extra sugar into it. We know it is bad, right? Without considering about it is bad, we do it. And that is why the correct thing that you can do is think about, what is the best thing that I can do now, right? Is it to forgive that people? Is it to let go of that jealousness? Is it to let go of that laziness and continue to work, right? When you think about that, you come up with a solution from yourself, okay? You find the solution through yourself. So ask this question from yourself, that what is the best thing that I can do to stay away from this negative state of my mind? Now you came up with a solution for your problem. Now what you have to do is to think about the benefits of cultivating this positive state of your mind. Okay? Try to think about the benefits of forgiving. Try to think about the benefits of staying away from jealousyness. Try to think about the staying away from laziness and getting to work. Okay? Once you do that, you will come up with the benefits of it. You will find the reward of it. The more you see the benefits of something, the more you will tend to be in that state. Okay? Because you know that you're going to get something good into your life. So try to ask from yourself, what are the benefits that I'm going to get by cultivating these wholesome thoughts? That is the fourth one. So now you ask all the questions from yourself, right? Now you know what to do and you know the benefits of it. Right? Now, there's only one thing that you have to do, and that is to take action. Go ahead and do it, right? Do the wholesome things and cultivate more wholesome qualities to your mind. But remember, none of these things are easy to our life, okay? It is very difficult. We have to try hard. We will fail when we are doing these things. But one thing that we have to do is we have to keep on doing it, whether we fail or not. Okay, once you do it continuously, okay, once you maintain that consistency, you will be good at it and it will be a part of your life, right? So that is how we deal with our mind. That is how we deal with the negative states of mind. So practice this and see it will work for you. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. In Buddhism, there is a practice called Sila. Sila is the way of self-discipline and moral conduct and virtuous behavior. So let's talk about Sila from this video. So fundamentally, all Buddhists practice 5 precepts. These 5 precepts are abstaining from killing beings, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, and abstaining from using intoxicating drinks and drugs. So these are the 5 precepts that all laymen and laywomen practice. And on Poya days or full moon Poya days and full moon days, which is a special day for all Buddhists, they practice 8 precepts. And for a novice monk or a junior monk, they get 10 precepts to practice. And for a senior monk or a higher ordained monk, they have 227 precepts to practice. So a lot of disciplinary codes and a lot of precepts and a lot of, you might think, a lot of rules, right? This is a complaint that most of the time that I hear from people who are new to Buddhism. They say, oh, there are a lot of rules, there are a lot of disciplinary codes, and there are a lot of restrictions. It kind of steals my freedom. But here's the thing. Buddhist precepts are not meant to be rules. They are not rules. They are self-disciplinary virtues that Buddha introduced to practice to keep the mind out of regret and to keep the mind more wholesome, to bring the mind to a more wholesome state. So why did Buddha introduce these practice as a sila or a disciplinary, these virtues or moral conducts or precepts? Why did he do that? The reason is the Buddha realized when someone engaged in such activities like breaking a precept, it accumulates bad karma or unwholesome karma. And what unwholesome karma leads to? That leads to suffering or regret. For an example, if someone kills animals or kill living beings, that needs to, he must create a lot of unwholesome intentions like violence, cruelty, and harmful thoughts, right? So these thoughts will lead to harmful results or suffering. The Buddha said that intention is the karma. Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami. Monks, I say, the intention is the karma. So as intention is the karma, if someone generates more unwholesome intentions, then he will accumulate more unwholesome karma, which leads to unwholesome results or suffering as a result. So the Buddha said, it is much better to stay away from these actions which leads to suffering in life. And that is why Buddha introduced Sila as a practice to be disciplined from your body and from your words to live a life of less regret, right? So most of the time, people when they commit or when they do these such offenses, or I would say when they do such unwholesome actions, what is the final result? It leads to the regret, right? They think like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Maybe after a long time, they will think like, I shouldn't have done that. To stay away from that regret, to stay away from your mind complaining to yourself that you're a bad person, you did this bad thing, to stay away from that, the Buddha said, be disciplined. Live a life of self-discipline or live a virtuous life. That is why Buddha introduced these precepts as sila. And also remember that if someone breaks such a precept, there is not a person or there is not any God who is going to punish that person. Buddha is not coming to punish you, okay? So if someone breaks the precept, the Buddha introduced a way to make it correct, okay? If you did a mistake, the Buddha said that it is okay to do mistakes. Mistakes can happen, but you have to correct that mistake. Understand that mistake as a mistake, okay? Understand that offense as an offense and correct it. The way to correct an offense or a mistake is to be open up. Do not hide that offense. Do not keep that mistake in your life and hide it and cover up and live like pretend to be a good person. The Buddha said, if you did an offense, be opened up. Tell it to a wise person who can understand you and who can forgive you. Tell it to that person and free your mind. Okay, that is why in monk's tradition, usually in monk's disciplinary codes, if a monk did an offense, or it is called apatti in monk's tradition, if apatti has happened, a mistake has happened, the way that we can correct that mistake is to go to a brother monk or a spiritual companion and to be open up to him, to say that I did this offense. This mistake has happened within me, so I'm going to correct it. I'm trying my best to protect and to be disciplined hereafter. And that is the way that we correct our mistakes. So you may be wondering, what is the use of practicing sila or being disciplined? So in Kimattiya Sutta, the Buddha explained this to Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda asked from the Buddha, Bhante, what is the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior, which is sila? The Buddha says, Ananda, the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior is non-regret. By practicing sila, it leads to non-regret. And what is the purpose and benefit of non-regret? The purpose and benefit of non-regret is joy. And what is the purpose and benefit of joy? The purpose and benefit of joy is rapture, is more spiritual pleasure. And what is the purpose and benefit of rapture? The purpose and benefit of rapture is tranquility. And what is the purpose and benefit of tranquility? The purpose and benefit of tranquility is pleasure. And what is the purpose and benefit of pleasure? The purpose and benefit of pleasure is concentration. And what is the purpose and benefit of concentration? The purpose and benefit of concentration is the knowledge and vision of things as they are, the realization of reality. And what, Bhante, is purpose and benefit of the knowledge and vision of the things as they are? The purpose and benefit of knowledge and vision of things as they are is disenchantment and dispassion. And what is the purpose and benefit of disenchantment and dispassion? The purpose and benefit of disenchantment and dispassion is the knowledge and vision of liberation. So the whole practice, whole steps leads to the liberation. So one must practice the Buddhist precepts to find the liberation, which we call vimukti in Buddhist tradition. So being disciplined, it will make you liberate. So someone can think being disciplined and having these disciplinary codes will lead to like restricted life, more difficult life, more boring life. Someone can say, usually people say that, oh, monks' life is so boring, they have a lot of things to, like a lot of restrictions and a lot of rules to practice, it is difficult, it is boring. Actually, the monk's life is so interesting and more enjoyable and more happy, because so many things, like you haven't tried this, that is why some people think that this is boring, but this is one life that one can enjoy very much, and which is very peaceful. So always remember, by being disciplined, you can free your mind. And that is why we believe that discipline leads to the freedom. So that is why in Buddhism, it is practiced the sila, or the self-discipline. So this is a little information about sila, or the practice of self-discipline in Buddhism. So I hope you got some idea about this. So let's meet in the next video. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. We all know that it is really, really difficult to find our own mistakes and our own faults and correct them. But it is really easy to point out other people's mistakes and find other people's faults. This is one lesson that my parents taught me when I was a child. They said, "Son, when you point one finger towards others, there are 3 fingers pointing at you." Sometimes there are many mistakes in ourselves, but we keep on finding other people's faults, other people's mistakes. But we all know that we should stop finding faults in others, but it is really difficult. Why is it is difficult? It is because of this habit, the mental pattern of finding faults in others. Luckily, this is a habit which we can change, which we can take control and stop it. So there are a few things that we have to understand and we have to realize to stop finding faults on others and be more focused on ourselves. In Dhammapada, verse number 50, the Buddha says, "Naparesang vilomani, naparesang katakatang, attanova avekkeya, katani akatanicha." So this is how to be focused on ourselves. Once you realize that no one in this world is perfect, then it is very easy to understand about why they make mistakes and why people keep doing wrong things. Most of the time, we used to complain why they are doing this, right? Why people are behaving like this? Why can't they behave like me? Why can't they be like me? But turns out that no one can be like you. Do not expect people to be like you. Okay? People are people. People are different, one person to another, and that is what makes this human life and human world so much beautiful, because there is this vibrant difference between people. In each and every human-made thing, there is an error. So back in those days when we were learning physics, we used to calculate all the things and measurements, and when we are doing it, we calculate one thing that is called the human error. Okay, what is it? The human error. That means the nature of humans is that there is an error always. And that error is not a bad thing. It is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it is the most beautiful thing in this world. Okay, so understand that no one is perfect and no one can be like you and no one can behave according to all the way that you want. Because people are living in their own worlds, in their own lives. They have their own dislikes and likes. So they live according to those intentions and emotions. So we have to understand that no one is perfect in this world. And also understand that everyone is struggling in this life, right? There is this unsatisfied nature in everyone's life. Isn't it? This is one thing that we have to understand. This is one of the major teachings in Buddhism. The Buddha says that realize that there is this unsatisfied nature in your life, right? Understand it as it is. And once you realize that there is this unsatisfied nature in your mind, you can relate it to other people as well. Same as I am unsatisfied and same as I am suffering in my life, other peoples are also suffering. Other peoples are also struggling in their life. So they will make mistakes. They will do wrong things. So these are the things that we have to understand, just to not to find faults on others, but to rather be focused on our mistakes and our doings and non-doings. So understand these things. And also, there's one thing. Now, by saying this, should you forget all the mistakes that other people do and just focus on yourself? I would say no. Because there are people in your life that you should find faults. You should care about the mistakes that they do. They are the people who live closely to your life. They are the people who love you most. They are the people who you love most. Always remember, when you see such people's mistakes, there is a way to correct them. Okay, it is okay to find the faults on those people, but there is a way to approach them. There is a way to correct them. Do not choose the easiest way to correct other people's mistake. What is the easiest way? Using the anger and using the violence to correct mistakes on other people. This is not a productive way. If you truly love someone, if you truly care about other people's life, their life, you should approach them to correct their mistake in a more productive way. So you should think, what is the most productive way that I can correct their mistakes? Not to hold on to not to make them hold on to their own mistakes and keep on doing it. Not just to make them more stubborn on their mistake. So when you consider about that, you find the easiest way and you find the correct way to approach them. The best way to correct someone's mistake is to speak to them privately, not in publicly. Speak to them privately and just explain what mistakes that they are doing. Okay, and explain the consequences of the mistakes. And also you have to praise and you have to appreciate the good things that they do. The more you see the good side and the bright side of the people, it is very easy to approach them and correct their mistakes. The more we see the negative side or the dark side of the people, here's one thing happen: you lose the ability to communicate. Because we are reminiscing and we just keep thinking about that, or the negative idea or the negative point of that person, and just forget about the strengths and all the abilities of that person that we can praise and we can appreciate. And by appreciating that, we can correct that little mistakes in there. So that is why just be more focused on the good side and the bright side of the people. So keep these points in your mind and live happily by seeing the good of other people and by seeing the wonder of this world. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about how can we clear our mind. Now, so many of you complain when I'm meditating, when I'm studying, there are so many thoughts popping inside our mind. I cannot stop it. I'm worried. What can I do? Well, the reason for this problem is we are looking at the meditation and we are looking at our mind in a wrong way. Always remember, meditation is not about emptying your mind. Okay? You can meditate while having thoughts inside your mind. That is the most wonderful thing about meditation. You don't want to empty your mind. You don't want to close the mind and let not other thoughts come in. No. Okay? Just try this to yourself. If you try to stop thoughts, what will happen? The nature of your mind is it will generate more thoughts again and again. Okay? That is the nature of your mind. Because we don't know that trying to stop thoughts is also a thought. Okay? So remember, meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It is about being aware of your thoughts. There is one practice in Buddha's teachings, it is called Chittanupassana. In Chittanupassana, Buddha introduced us to a wonderful meditation of being aware of what comes into your mind. Okay? Let the thoughts come into your mind, but be aware of it. Because most of the time, we are not aware of what is going inside our mind. That is the problem. That is why we get caught to these unwholesome thoughts like greediness, craving, anger, hatred, and a lot of things. Okay? Because we don't know what is going inside our mind. The Buddha teaches us, that Buddha introduced us this meditation to be aware of what is coming into your mind. Let's say a lustful thought came to your mind. Okay, it's okay. Everyone feels lust. Everyone feels this craving and desire inside their mind. But the problem with most people is they don't know that their mind is under desire, under lust. Okay, but if you can be mindful, okay, if you can detect when the lust arises, this is a lustful thought, that is popping inside my mind. If you can detect it, if you can identify it, then the nature of your mind is, once you identify your thoughts, once you are aware of that thought, it will start to be silent. Okay? It is something like a little baby. Look at your mind like a little baby. Okay? Now, when we are not aware of the babies, what they are doing? They are doing a lot of nasty things, okay? They are doing a lot of naughty things. Why? Because we are not aware of them. But once we pay our attention, they try to behave. Okay? Because they know that my parent or these elders are being aware of me. Okay? So they try to be disciplined. And also, the nature of kids and the nature of little kids is they are very curious. So does the mind. Mind is very curious. It likes to cling into certain things and like to search certain things. So what we can do to quiet our mind or to make silence inside our mind is just to pay attention to what comes into your mind. Don't try to stop it. Okay? The more you try to stop it, the more it will come. So what we have to do, just be aware of it. When you become aware of what is going inside your mind, you bring your mind to this present moment. Because these thoughts and everything that goes inside your mind happening in this present moment. If you can see the appearance of the thoughts, and if you can see the passing away or fading away of the thoughts, it will start to get quieter. Okay? So when your mind is busy, in the next time, try this. When your mind is busy, when a lot of thoughts come into your mind, just try to identify one thought. Look at your mind like you're looking at an external thing, okay? And try to identify one thought. When it arises, you can identify, oh, okay, it is arising now. When it fades away, okay, you're knowing and you are understanding that this thought is fading away. Once you do that, it is very amazing that your mind gets silent and quieter even more. So this is how we can clear and quiet our mind when we do meditations or when we are doing certain things in our life. So keep this advice in your life and practice it. Namo Buddhaya.
Once, a student monk went to his master and said, "Master, I can't live in this temple anymore. I want to leave this place and go to a peaceful and quiet monastery." Then the master monk asked, "Why? What's wrong with this temple? Tell me what happened." Then the student monk said, "See, everyone in this temple are toxic to me. There are some monks who are too much into politics in this temple. And there are some other monks who always talks negative stuff about me and about others. And there are some others who spend their whole day doing nothing but just gossiping. I don't think that I can practice my spiritual life in this temple. Please let me go to a peaceful and a quiet monastery where there is no toxic people around me." Then the master monk said, "Okay, I will let you go, but before going, you have to do me a favor for the one last time." Then the student monk said, "Tell me, master, what should I do for you?" Then the master monk took a spoonful of water and gave it to the student monk and said, "You must carry this spoonful of water around the monastery and you should bring it to me. But here's the trick. You must never spill a single drop of water from it. If you can do it, I will let you go to a peaceful monastery." So thinking that the master will let him go to a peaceful monastery by completing this weird request, the student monk took the spoonful of water and carried it around the monastery, fully focused and without spilling a single drop from it. So after a few hours, the student monk came back to the master with a happy face and said, "Master, I did it. I carried this spoonful of water all around the monastery, even without spilling a drop from it." So now let me go to a peaceful monastery. Then the master monk said, "Okay, my student, you are free to go. But before you go, just tell me one thing. While you were carrying the spoonful of water around the monastery, did you hear any of the monks talking about politics? Did you hear any of the monks gossiping about other people? Did you hear any of the monks talking negative stuff about you?" Then the student monk said, "Master, I was focused on the spoon and I didn't have any time to listen to all those noises." Then the master monk said, "See, my student, if you are fully focused on your goal and if you are fully focused on your purpose, you don't have time to listen to all those other negative noises around you. Remember, wherever you go in this world, you will meet negative people around you. But if you are fully focused on your goal and on your larger purpose, all the other negative people and all the other negative words that you hear are nothing but just noises." Ladies and gentlemen, it is all about what we focus in our life. The more we focus on other people's behaviors, other people's words, other people's lives, there will be many toxic people around us. But if we are focused on ourselves, our goals, our purpose, all those negative stuff will become nothing but just a noise. See, it is easy to criticize other people. It is easy to see the dark side and the negative side of people. But it takes a heart of bravery and kindness to see the bright side of people. We all have imperfections in our life. We all make mistakes. We all make bad choices. And all those faults, imperfections are the things that makes us who we are. So when you work with people or when you are on social media, you will come across with people that you don't like. You will come across with ideas that you don't agree with. Remember, in all those times, you have the power to choose whether to react with negativity or to respond to them with positivity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all about what you choose to do and what you focus in your life. So, focus on yourself and choose to respond to them with positivity.